5,000 years ago, but when most of the world feared the sea, India had already built its first port. Welcome to Lothal, a city that turned mud and tide into mastery. A city where ships once floated, where now only dust remains. Where merchants measured the winds not for conquest, but for commerce. And at its heart lay something the world had never seen before. A dockyard. Imagine you're standing in the heat of Gujarat, India. The air is still. The land looks ordinary. Cracked earth, thorny shrubs, silence. But beneath your feet lies the ghost of a city that once connected India to the world. This was Lothal, the mound of the dead, like Mohenjo-Daro, yet very much alive in spirit. Discovered in 1954, Lothal stunned archaeologists. Why? Because it wasn't just a city, it was a port, complete with dock gates, warehouses, and trade networks stretching as far as Mesopotamia. At a time when many civilizations feared the ocean's fury, the people of Lothal tamed it. They didn't build walls to keep the world out. They built ships to explore it. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture it. A massive rectangular basin, 218 meters long, 37 meters wide, built of perfectly fitted burnt bricks. A canal led from it to the Sabarmati River, which once flowed nearby. This wasn't a reservoir, it wasn't a moat, it was a dockyard, the earliest known in human history. Here, ships from distant lands would anchor, unload cargo, and prepare for long voyages. Some carried beads, ivory, and cotton from India. Others brought silver, lapis lazuli, and copper from the Persian Gulf and Mesopotamia. And all this 5,000 years ago. Lothal was the Silicon Valley of ancient trade, buzzing with innovation, precision, and ambition. Walk deeper into the ruins and you'll find the pulse of Lothal's economy. Rows of workshops line the street. Bead makers, shell cutters, potters. You can almost hear the rhythmic tapping of artisans shaping agate stones into beads so flawless they still shine today. Lothal's beads were its identity. Exported across continents, found even in Sumerian tombs. There were standardized weights and measures, cubical stones that ensured every deal was fair. Seals with animal engravings and symbols were used as trade signatures, early passports of commerce. And near the dock stood massive brick platforms, warehouses that stored goods waiting to sail across the Arabian Sea. Lothal wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Proof that the Indus people were not only engineers, but global thinkers. What made Lothal work wasn't luck, it was science. The dockyard was built at an angle, allowing water to flow in and out with the tides, cleaning itself naturally. Channels drained excess rainwater, protecting the city from floods. Wells provided clean water, even in drought. And when the tides rose too high, massive spillways released water safely, an ancient precursor to modern floodgates. It was environmental engineering far ahead of its time, a civilization that understood water not as an obstacle, but as a partner. Like other Indus cities, Lothal had no palaces, no fortresses, no grand temples, no evidence of kings, no armies, just precision, peace, and planning. People lived in modest brick homes with their own bathrooms and drainage. Merchants shared the same streets as craftsmen. Governance seemed local, decisions likely made through councils or community consensus. It was an economy of trust, not power. In a world where most civilizations rose on conquest, Lothal rose on trade and cooperation. But tides, like civilizations, always turn. Around 1900 BCE, the Sabarmati River changed course. Silt began choking the canals, floods became frequent, trade routes collapsed. The dockyard fell silent. Merchants packed their seals, and the city slowly faded away. By the time the Aryans reached the subcontinent centuries later, Lothal had become just another mound of dust, its stories buried under silence. Yet, even in ruins, its spirit lingered, because Lothal had taught the ancient world something profound, that prosperity comes not from ruling others, but from connecting with them. Today, when we speak of globalization, trade networks, or marine technology, we are unknowingly echoing Lothal's legacy. Its dockyard is the ancestor of every modern port. Its weights, measures, and seals were the blueprint of organized commerce. Its spirit of balance between man, nature, and water still flows through Indian civilization. Even the reverence Indians hold for rivers today, as sacred lifelines, may have begun here. Lothal's story reminds us that progress isn't always about conquest or kings. Sometimes it's about cooperation, precision, and the courage to build where others feared to sail. As the sun sets over the ruins, the cracked earth glows orange. You can almost imagine the dockyard filled with ships again, sails billowing, merchants shouting, beads glimmering in the sun. The sea once touched this city, now only the wind does. But every gust carries a whisper of trade, of innovation, of dreams that dared to sail beyond the known world. This was Lothal, the world's first port city, a symbol of India's forgotten genius. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because next, we journey into the desert to uncover Dholavira, the city that defied death with stone, water, and time itself.